We have some very interesting Dallas Cowboys coaching updates as the Dallas Cowboys have set 2 new targets as their head coach and completed some recent interviews for what the plan is going to be. And a lot of fans are very, very mad at Jerry Jones for what we're about to discuss here in this video. Before we get into all of this Cowboys news stuff, we know that 91% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Dallas Cowboys news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join us here on the channel. We're covering everything Dallas Cowboys, but as I mentioned, not a lot of fans are very happy with the move that Jerry Jones have decided to do. I wouldn't say he's made any moves, but the reactions to the moves that the head coaching positions have been made, and going from what we've seen from Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, all the way down to Brian Schottenheimer. I'm going to be talking about all of this here. I'm going to start this one off here from a tweet from JPA Football. The report is there's mutual interest between the Cowboys and Commanders running back coach Anthony Lynn for the team's head coaching vacancy, per Ed Werder. Lynn used to be the head coach of the Chargers, currently the running back coach of the Washington Commanders, and was the running back coach and the assistant head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. So he has been around the league, has been really, a guy that is okay. Nothing really special about what we've seen from him. But there's one aspect of his game that is a very, very underrated aspect that the Cowboys may be pulling out a few strings to be able to make this move happen. As I mentioned, he's the running back coach for the 49ers, for the Washington Commanders, currently for the Washington Commanders, with the vacancy open for the Cowboys head coach, could be in that role. As the running back coach, he's had the opportunity to kind of work with Christian McCaffrey, this year work with Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, and he's a very, very, very run-heavy coach. And looking at the Dallas Cowboys kind of running back room right now in their offense, I'll pull this up on the bigger screen as well for you. Rico Dowdle, who's currently a free agent at the running back one, Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis are currently the only running backs that could really have a guaranteed spot next season. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, the Dallas Cowboys are linked to Ashton Jeanty in the draft. That, of course, is a big part of what the Cowboys are planning on doing. Now, whether or not they actually do end up going that direction, whether or not they do end up trading the pick, we're yet to see. But as of right now, every mock draft that I am seeing, whether it's CBS, whether it's Tankathon, wherever it may be, has Ashton Jeanty in a Cowboys uniform, which is something that is very exciting to think about. And looking at it that way, do they think the Cowboys are going for a full running back system next season? Of course, we do have CeeDee Lamb still, of course, on the IR, though. Should be healthy for the beginning of next season. Jalen Tolbert, Devontae Turpin, Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks. There are a lot of other great wide receivers on this team as well. But a lot that, we didn't really get to see too much from them this year, partially due to not the greatest offense, partially due to not having Dak healthy and also Cooper Rush playing, and just really a whole system of things not working out for the Cowboys this year, which led to a pretty inconsistent wide receiver room. But Rico Dowdle had a great season. We saw him having the ball quite a bit, in his first real actual action as a running back in the NFL. And now seeing him potentially go somewhere else could be a very big loss to the Dallas Cowboys. But if they do see Ashton Jeanty coming into this room, and that is the plan, it is the right move. Of course, having head coach Anthony Lynn, a run-first head coach with Ashton Jeanty, who can also catch the pass, can also, hammer the ball down the middle. There's a lot of great opportunities for him, but there's a very one-dimensional style of coach, which is something that I think the Cowboys really need to think about, especially with having CeeDee Lamb, with having Dak Prescott, with having, Brandon Cooks, Jake Ferguson, these other guys that are really going to fill in this lineup and make some elite plays when you need them. If you're running the ball on, 3 of the 4 downs, that could be a big issue for this team, especially with the offense that is trying to get better going deep, trying to get better in every aspect of the game. But as well as Anthony Lynn, we do have another interesting coaching decision, or an interesting target, I guess we could say. And here's what we have from the top candidates: Kellen Moore, Robert Saleh, Leslie Frazier, Anthony Lynn, Jason Witten, and Deion Sanders. As I mentioned, starting off with Deion Sanders was the first really known. Kellen Moore, Robert Saleh, Jason Witten, Leslie Frazier. There's a few names there that I'm seeing a lot of people not want to see. Of course, Deion's one of the guys that we all want to see. It is a very interesting pile of players, but as well as one that we don't see here currently in the system. The Cowboys are expected to interview with offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer for their vacant head coach job, per me and Slater NFL. Now, this actually just finished before recording this video. A well-respected in the building, Schottenheimer has been an OC for more than a decade, an intriguing option to take the next step. And even Ian Rappaport doesn't seem convinced on this move. Even Ian Rappaport says that this is an intriguing option to take. The offense this year for the Cowboys, we know was not the best. A lot of that partially due to injury, a lot of that kind of mixed in with a few other sprinkles of things here, but it still was not the best, and you have to kind of learn from that. Now, putting your offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, as your your head coach, you got to think, we're going to see the exact same thing next year, but even more, and we don't want to see more of that. We want to see some progression in the offense. We want to see the offense be back to what we know it can be. If you have a guy, let's just say Ashton Jeanty is going to be on this team. If you have Dak Prescott, Ashton Jeanty, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, so many of these guys that are supposed to be elite talents in the NFL, and you don't have the right system for them, they're not going to be elite. That's just the way it works. It sucks to say, but that is how it's going to work out if it doesn't work out. And Brian Schottenheimer will not be able to fix this. And looking at a tweet here from Dan Rogers, right before coming to Dallas, Brian Schottenheimer was the passing game coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars for one season. The Jaguars finished dead last in points scored that year. No shot, Sherlock. This is another very interesting thing to think about, and we are looking at it this season. It seems very, very familiar to what we've seen this year, and something that the Cowboys do not want to see continue. We don't want to see this. You see a guy, as I was going to say, the Vikings head coach, Kevin O'Connell, working with every aspect that they have. That's not what you'd get in Brian Schottenheimer. Obviously, Kevin O'Connell's a great coach. There's no denying that. A great coach would be for the Cowboys. But you have to have someone who is available for every aspect. You want a bit of quarterback, a bit of running back, a bit of receiver, a bit of tight end, a bit of offensive line, whatever, defense, everything. You can't have a guy like Brian Schottenheimer who has been notoriously known to not give the best options. And this is a tweet I have here from Nick Harris, a very interesting one that I wanted to pull up, and something that a lot of us should really think about. He says, look, I could very well end up with an egg on my face as the search is all very convoluted, and there's a lot of noise, but I stand on my reporting from yesterday in saying that I don't think Brian Schottenheimer is going to be the next head coach for the Cowboys. Offensive coordinator, very possible. Head coach, not from what I've heard, and this isn't me trying to discredit any of the other reporters, as some people tried to pin me on yesterday. Reminder, this is a convoluted process. Everyone is going with the best with what they have. I'm just communicating what I have. We'll see how it all stacks up at the end of it all. And this is a tweet that I'd really like to see. This is, of course, one that we have to look at. We have to kind of look at everything going forward with it. And the fact that someone like this, a credible reporter, Nick Harris from Fort Worth, just really putting it out there, putting everything kind of credibility on the line and all, just saying that, this is what I have, this is what I believe in, this is my sources, really makes me feel confident that he has these sources. He's not afraid to really put out any false reports, and he won't put out any false reports if everything is in this deep. Now, of course, things can certainly change. As right now, this is what he says. He's not seeing a head coach, but offensive coordinator. Very possible. And even if this continues, that's fine. But we do not want to see Brian Schottenheimer as a head coach. And looking at his previous stats, or previous statistics from other teams as well, not good. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Going from Coach Prime to going here to Brian Schottenheimer, it's very interesting to see kind of the array of coaches that the Cowboys are linked to right now. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.